The first day at the new school was always nerve-wracking for Ellie. As she walked through the imposing iron gates of Willowbrook High, her heart raced with a mix of excitement and dread. The Gothic architecture loomed over her, casting long shadows on the cracked pavement. It wasn't just the old bricks and ivy-clad walls that unsettled her, it was the way the entire building seemed to whisper secrets of the past. "Ellie, come on, we're going to be late." Jenna, her new friend, tugged at her sleeve, snapping her out of her trance. Ellie blinked and forced a smile. "Yeah, let's go," she replied, though unease clung to her like a second skin. The hallways of Willowbrook High were dimly lit, with flickering fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The sound of their footsteps echoed eerily in the narrow corridors. Ellie couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was watching them from the shadows. "Did you hear the rumors about this place?" Jenna whispered, her voice quivering with excitement and fear. Ellie shook her head, trying to focus on anything other than the unsettling atmosphere. "What rumors?" "They say the school is haunted." Jenna's eyes gleamed with a mix of thrill and apprehension. "There's a room that's been sealed off for years, and students who've gone near it have disappeared without a trace." Ellie shivered, her skin prickling. "Jenna, that's just a story to scare new students," she said, trying to sound confident, but deep down, she wasn't so sure. The school had a chilling aura, as if it held secrets best left buried. As the day wore on, Ellie couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong at Willowbrook High. When she entered her classroom, she immediately noticed something odd. The room was cold, unnaturally cold, as if a draft was coming from nowhere. She glanced around, her eyes narrowing at the teacher, Mr. Hargrave, who was staring at her with an unsettling intensity. Mr. Hargrave was a tall man with piercing blue eyes and an expression that could chill the blood of the most seasoned student. "Welcome to Willowbrook High, Ellie," Mr. Hargrave said, his voice smooth but devoid of warmth. "I hope you enjoy your time here, for however long that may be." Ellie's breath caught in her throat. Was that a threat? Or was she imagining things? She glanced at Jenna, who seemed oblivious to the strange vibe in the room. Taking a deep breath, Ellie pushed the thought aside and took her seat. After school, Ellie decided to explore the old part of the building. She convinced Jenna to join her, and together, they ventured into the parts of the school that had been closed off for years. The air grew colder as they approached the abandoned wing, and Ellie's heart pounded in her chest. "Are you sure we should be doing this?" Jenna asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What if we get caught?" "Don't worry," Ellie replied, trying to sound brave. "No one comes here anymore. They won't even notice we're gone." As they stepped into the darkened hallway, Ellie felt a cold breeze brush past her, sending chills down her spine. The walls were covered in old, peeling wallpaper, and the floorboards creaked under their feet. The air smelled musty, like a place forgotten by time. Suddenly, they heard a faint sound, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It was coming from one of the classrooms. Ellie's heart raced as she exchanged a glance with Jenna, who looked just as terrified as she felt. "Did you hear that?" Jenna whispered, her voice trembling. "Yes," Ellie replied, her voice barely audible. "Let's see what it is." They slowly made their way down the hallway, the whispers growing louder with each step. Ellie's hands trembled as she reached for the doorknob of the classroom from which the sound was emanating. She hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The room was empty, completely empty. Dust motes floated in the air, and the desks and chairs were covered in a thick layer of dust, as if no one had been in the room for years. But the whispering continued, growing louder and more insistent, filling the room with an otherworldly presence. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, causing both girls to jump. The whispers intensified, swirling around them like a dark, invisible force. Ellie's heart pounded in her chest as she looked around, desperately trying to find the source of the sound. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice shaking with fear. There was no response, only the relentless whispering that seemed to seep into her mind, filling her with a sense of dread. Jenna clutched Ellie's arm, her face pale with terror. "We need to get out of here," she cried,